I've always been curious about those people that would have us believe that they are modern prophets of God. Are they really getting messages from God or angels? Or is this more of a self-aggrandizing activity? I mean, they're not really telling us anything that we don't know. There are a lot of things that are going on that one could interpret as signs of the end time. Does it seem to you that a lot of this is, well, about them, the prophets? Oh, you will always hear them give credit to a divine source, but the logistics are obvious. How else would us lowly pawns be privy to such supreme, lofty, inside information if it wasn't for the dreams, visions, and communications? And if this is a God gift, why aren't they giving us predictions 20, 30, or more years before an actual disaster? Why just when things are imminent? I think much of the motivation for all of this, conscious or subconscious, is the attention received. This brings me to the interesting point in this video, the Don Quixote Syndrome. This phrase was coined by a YouTube friend of mine, the Active Reasoner, who suggested a relationship between these folks who would have us believe that they are prophets and the personage of Don Quixote. The main character in the book was a man named Alonso Quijano, a gentleman around the age of 50, who had recently retired and now drowns himself in the wondrous literary works on the topic of chivalry and knighthood. It is by this means, spending most every waking moment reading and absorbing the facets of these wonderful stories, that Alonso, so possessed with the honor of this occupation, trades his participation in the real world to assume the focal point in his dreams as the wandering knight, and take his place along with the gallant characters of these books. Alonso renames himself Don Quixote de la Mancha, and hence, the adventures of Don Quixote begin. It is this incessive insistence that draws together with our main topic today. Throughout his many adventures, Alonso demonstrates this amazing ability of polarizing everything that he sees within his little auto-suggestive escapade into everything that he needs to see in order to perpetuate it. Now, as far as I know, the story of Don Quixote was based on a fictional character. But do you see how Alonso's self-convincing mandate so easily translates onto other real-world examples? It is this self-convincing aspect that allows you to interpret information in such a way as to bolster your own cause. And in Alonso's case, everyone who had the misfortune of coming into contact with him would soon play a role, willing or unwilling, in his adventures, regardless of how far removed from reality they actually were. So it doesn't surprise me when people like Jonathan Kleck get confirmation of their prophecies by folding a $10 bill just right to replicate the image of an ICBM coming out of the ocean, just like the ones that God told him will destroy America. God gives Jonathan further confirmation of this by using none other than Sandy the Squirrel from SpongeBob, who happens to turn herself into a nuclear missile later that evening. What more evidence do you need? OK Media sees flashes of demonic faces in the momentary shapes of clouds billowing from a smoldering World Trade Tower. Marshall Applewhite recognizes the blip in front of an image of Comet Hale-Bopp as the spaceship that would initiate the end of the world. Unfortunately, this photo from which he drew the conclusion was a fake. Others can see phallic symbology when viewing the runway at Denver International Airport. Still others even see Jesus in their breakfast. But none of this is a new concept. It's been going on for years. People will interpret events as they need to see them. There is one YouTube model that really gives us some insight on how this internal auto-suggestion may work, and that is one William Tapley. The clue to this can be found in one of his YouTube bios. Once retired, he began to read the Bible and confessed that he found himself to have a gift for interpreting Bible prophecy. When he prayed and asked God, "Who is the angel that foretells the sorrows of the future earth?" in the 8th chapter of the book of Revelations, God replied, "Why, you are. How much more convincing do you need?" Mr. Tapley is a prime example of the Don Quixote Syndrome in my estimation. He has given the YouTube audience so many prophecies with dates over the years with such little success that he actually has a diminishing subscriber base, yet he continues on with his YouTube ministry without pause. Mr. Tapley will go on seeing whatever it is he must see that will keep him in the spotlight as he continues with his adventures. What does all this mean? Well, the next time you listen to someone who describes themselves as enlightened while they tell you of their revelations, dreams, and warnings, ask yourself this question. Is this person really inspired? Are they really communicating with God? Or are we too playing a part in someone else's personal indulgence as just another manifestation of the Don Quixote Syndrome?